Hello, all my sister friends. My name is Jenny. My channel is Senior Perspective, and we are going to be addressing COVID and COVID rules from McKelty's perspective. Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. In a recent Patreon, somebody asked McKelty if she felt that Cody had such strict and stringent rules under COVID rules for the family because of Robin. And she said because it appeared that Robin was very scared of COVID.
Do you think Robin was a big part of your dad's decision about keeping so isolated during COVID? She seemed terrified, and then your dad demanded everyone comply with his rules.
McKelty tries to defend her father and does a very poor job of it.
There's no rules set up here. There's no, it's
know,
just
it's
dad's like, I can't see anyone. Sorry, bye.
It's the frustration.
See you in Christmas.
I spent months trying to make my case, and I just kept hitting the brick wall. And I finally thought, you know what? It's not worth the damage to the relationships to keep butting my head against this wall.
Isn't it damaging to the relationships that we don't ever see each other?
Yeah, but you know what? We'll survive that.
We'd probably survive COVID too.
I mean, honey, it's really just about the growth.
Theoretically, the only way to actually be able to see dad is to get COVID. Just think about it. We'll be immune, and then we can just go hang out with dad. Dad doesn't have to worry about catching it from us. Don't get me wrong, I still think we should be safe, but if I end up getting it, and then I recover, if that doesn't change the game, then this was never about COVID at all in the first place.
I know.
She starts off trying to use an analogy, which isn't a great analogy at all. She refers back to the whole scene when they were getting married. Tony made the comment, your parents can get a second mortgage on their home to help pay for our wedding.
Yeah, I really don't know what he means by it would clobber him. I guess financially wise, but there's a way around that. I mean, you can get a loan. You can get a loan against your house. And we can just pay it off. It's
a loan against a house to plan a wedding?
Yeah, it's called a home equity.
Apparently, although she's never come out and said he never really meant it, she just said yes and no in terms of if it was a joke. She's saying he said it because the rules on the show were that you could not say that the show was going to be paying for part of the wedding. So now she's comparing this to COVID, and she's saying there were rules on the show that they couldn't talk about what TLC was requiring in terms of COVID protocol. So they weren't supposed to talk about it. So she's making the leap and the assumption then that her father had these rules, and she's trying to get us viewers to believe it's really TLC's fault, not her father's. But she does go on to admit that, okay, he was trying to abide by TLC's rules and regulations, the CDC's rules and regulations, as well as his own. All right, let's stop there, because then she goes on to a fourth reason. TLC and the CDC, I'm sure, are identical. What was TLC following? The CDC protocol. That's what everybody was following. I own a small business myself. I have gatherings that I coordinate. What did I do? I look up all the CDC requirements for gatherings of people. And what did we need to do in 2020 to still meet? What were they? 6 feet apart, wear a mask, make sure they had a temperature below 100.4. Lower than Cody's temperature, let me just point out, when he showed the thermometer and made it sound like he was on death's door at, 99.8 or something like that.
$99.8. All right. Well, I think 6 days of COVID in the house. I feel like crap.
The temperature had to be below 100.4. So I had like one of those little guns you take at your forehead, and I checked everyone's temperature each morning that they came down, because I would do weekend retreats. We had tables that were 8 feet wide. Each one had their own table, so we were more than fine in terms of social distancing. And I encouraged everybody to wear a mask anytime they were up and about moving around the room. Those were the requirements. And this was for large group gatherings. These people are meeting outside in the woods where there's nobody, and it's only family. And yet, Cody had a whole bunch of additional rules. So she said, oh, it was CDC, it was TLC, and it was Cody's rules. CDC and TLC did not have that strict of requirements. Cody's rules obviously included the CDC and the TLCs as well. It's the additional rules. That's what everyone's talking about. We're not talking about what the CDC required. We're not talking about what TLC required. TLC did not require them to bring in all their mail and wipe it down with alcohol wipes. They did not. They did not. We know that Robin is an extremist. We saw it when they were first on Zoom early on in 2020 when they were recording. And Robin already said, we're quarantining, we're self-quarantining. There was no quarantining at this time. None. Yet they were still all on Zoom, but that's fine because they all lived in different homes, and Flagstaff, the whole Flagstaff experiment was a bust. So they're all apart from each other, probably per Cody's request. That's fine. And Christine's trying to figure out, how are we going to get the family together? What are we going to do? And Robin's like, oh, well, you don't think we should all get together, do you?
Based on what I'm seeing online and all of the research I've been doing,
I mean, we're not going anywhere except for the grocery store that's needed or whatever.
I just don't know. We live only 2 hours away from one of the biggest cities in the United States, so I'm a little nervous about it.
Couldn't we all just hang together? So that's where I'm at.
You guys think it's okay and safe for us to kind of spend time together?
I mean, I guess that's my thought process. I envision us like just hanging out with all this spare time. And
like you think that's safe for us to be like spending time with each other and stuff like that?
Yeah, because I think we're all being careful.
And that's when Robin shares, well, we're just choosing to self-quarantine. We're staying away from everybody.
This whole thing is stressing me out so bad that the kids and I are self-quarantining at home right now.
Oh, wow.
That was the beginning of it. Then all of a sudden he had all these rules, and we see talking heads with Robin where she's talking about, according to my doctor, well, I'm talking to my doctor. And I go, I don't know what quack doctor she was talking to, but this is clearly a doctor that does not take mental health into the consideration of it all.
I think at this point, Gabriel should choose his girlfriend over his dad. I mean, he can always talk to his dad. And I think at this stage of his life, Gabriel needs to be pursuing his life, personally. Yeah, I mean, I just think making your adult kids stay home is detrimental.
Fully embracing this family should stay apart from each other, according to Robin. And justifying it based on the fact that more and more rules kept coming up from this extremist physician that they had.
So, in addition to the COVID rules, the show itself did have some specific rules as well, just like any corporate company did. You have a couple, like some people said you have to wear masks, social distance, wipe down surfaces, things like that. It was a very typical corporate, you've got to have a couple of rules as well. And so everybody under the corporate umbrella had to comply with those rules, but they can't say that on the show. So some of the rules for the COVID stuff were part of the shows. Some of them were also my dad's, and some of them were also the CDC's. During that time as well, my dad was working with a doctor that he really enjoyed, really liked, and really agreed with. So he started implementing this doctor's recommendations as well. So part of the COVID rules, it was basically, it was a mix. It was a jumble of different people's opinions, and what he was like, well, I don't know exactly who's right, so I'm just going to do it all. That's what I think the COVID rules were.
Now, maybe. We don't know. We weren't there on the conversation. Could maybe Robin have said, do you think it would be better, since we don't know what germs and germs can transfer on surfaces, if when the mail came, we wiped it down?
Sure.
You know what the doctor's going to say? Sure. Yeah. Any good doctor would. Anything preventative, right? Do you think it's best if we're not in contact with people that we're unsure if they've been exposed to it? Yeah, sure. Can you see how the conversation could have gone? And then it becomes, my doctor said.
I've had pneumonia before, and Saul had RSV when he was little, and I've talked to our family doctor on the phone, and she basically said those two things right there are like high-risk situations.
Let's pause for a second. Cody did not implement all of the doctor's recommendations, and we weren't even there in the office, were we? But we know he didn't, because every doctor in America said, get the vaccine. How could Cody and Robin have prevented feeling so miserable for so long when they eventually got COVID? They could have gotten the vaccine. I'm not trying to be a pro-vaxxer or an anti-vaxxer. I'm just stating facts here. She's saying he's following everything that this doctor is saying, and this doctor is going to extreme lengths of what they need to do. Things I've never even heard of. Wiping down your mail and wiping down all your groceries. But fine. Prevention is key, right? And yet, was the number one thing that every doctor in America, including the CDC, was saying we can do to help prevent the spread of this? Stay 6 feet away and get vaccinated. So what I'm saying is he did not follow all the rules. He was cherry picking. He was picking the ones he wanted to do.
I do not know if, Robin was, I don't know the exact factor Robin played into that. I do know that she obviously played a factor. So I think what my dad was also trying to do is safe than sorry, honestly. Ask for forgiveness over permission. Ultimately, I don't know that he made the right call, obviously, because I think it's one of the cataclysms that ultimately pushed the family apart. But I don't know all of the reasons. I think that I think my dad was doing the best he thought he could and trying to make a difficult decision that ultimately, I think he regrets. I don't know, but I think he regrets how strict he was with the rules. But, none of my siblings and none of my parents passed away from COVID. So who knows?
It's a little bit disingenuous for her to say it worked because nobody passed away from it. It wasn't about passing away from it. It was about contracting it. And they got COVID. And the fact they wiped down their mail and wiped down their groceries did not prevent them from passing away when they eventually contracted COVID. That's a weak argument there. I think she's just rambling here in defense of her parents. They're her parents.
A couple of the other things, Truly's kidney failure, because of her kidney failure, it does ultimately affect her immune system in her body. She is a little bit more vulnerable to getting sick than somebody who hasn't had kidney failure. Also, when Solomon was younger, I forgot the name of what he had, but it was a common sickness amongst infants that was potentially extremely dangerous, but I'm sorry, I don't know the name of it. But because of that, his immune system is also weaker. And then Robin has something as well because of a previously something that makes her immune system also weaker. So I think what my dad was also trying to do is safe than sorry, honestly.
Going back to the Truly piece. The comment about Truly really bothered me, and this is why. Cody had Truly in his care. Truly was getting more and more dehydrated over the couple of days he was watching her. He was not seeing to it that all his kids were getting their proper nutrition and liquids while he was monitoring them. And they were outside in the hot heat by a pool. He dropped the ball. She went into kidney failure because of dehydration. I'm not arguing that there are residual effects in Truly that may have made her more susceptible to having adverse reactions to COVID. What I am saying is that for Cody to use the justification that he will never go over to their house because Truly went through this when he couldn't even see to it that she could have enough water for a couple days. He couldn't even monitor that enough, but he will stay on the other side of town away from her. It just doesn't match. It isn't the same person. And we have never heard out of Christine's mouth that Truly was at risk. So I don't know if Mykelti is speaking these words because this is what Cody told her, or Robin and Cody told her. This is why he's not going over that. Or if her mom, Christine, said, oh, we need to keep Truly away from everybody because she's compromised now because of the kidney failure that she had when she was younger. We don't know, but what we do know is that Christine didn't stop traveling around the country with Truly. She didn't stop taking Truly here, there, and everywhere. So it doesn't seem like Christine was that concerned. So I don't think Christine's doctor told her this.
Ari, Solomon, Truly, you guys are supposed to be 6 feet apart.
Truly, make sure you keep your distance. You're the best.
Truly's missed everyone so much. She's missed Saul and Ari so much. We'll do our best to maintain that, but she's really glad to be here with everybody. It's really nice.
I think this is something that Cody and Robin are projecting onto Truly to say, oh, because maybe they got a lot of slack from social media that she was so overreactive about Solomon. I've read from many people who said their kids had RSV and their doctor said they're fine.
He had RSV, which all my kids have had, and I wasn't worried, so that one didn't make sense to me. It's also different parents. Every parent has a different parenting style.
But I know people whose kids had RSV and they were not at all concerned. It was not a considering factor, but it was for Cody and Robin. So again, did maybe they go to their doctor and say, remember, Solomon had RSV when he was younger. Do you think that maybe that could put him at a higher risk category? The doctor's not going to say no. Doctor's going to say, well, could be. And then they take could be and they run with it. Hey, take a quick second and hit like and subscribe on this video, and even throw me a comment, even if it's just to say hello. If you do, I truly appreciate you. Thanks so much. And then they went ahead and projected on Truly. Oh, Truly had something when she was younger too. Wasn't a respiratory illness whatsoever. It was her kidneys, but she had something when she was younger. So, she's at risk too. So we're doing a solid by keeping Cody away from her.
You're very manipulative and conniving, and I don't like it.
I don't know any of this. As you can tell, this is all conjecture on my part. I'm just saying, can't you see it? Can't you see it go down this way? It all fits.
Like a puzzle.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
But we're going to go dig 2 extra fire pits.
Oh.
Now, if I'm doing that, will you let Saul and Ari come?
Whoa.
Listen, I'll help corral them.
Please, Master Jedi.
And to back it up, we've got Meri over here in an apartment all by her lonesome self, having all of her Grubhub groceries delivered to her. No kids, no people, seeing nobody, completely alone. Cody thinking, okay, runs it by Robin and...
But Mary's been quarantined literally for weeks now.
Yeah.
Would you be comfortable with her helping us with Ari and Saul? Can Ari sit on her lap because she's literally been quarantined?
I don't know.
Oh, wait.
All right.
So I'm just saying...
Now's not the time to modify the rules, I guess.
No.
Whoa. It was all her idea.
Breaks. Yeah, for Mykelti to say this wasn't Robin, that this was Cody and he was just trying to do what's best for everybody, I don't believe it. Before we go, let's go over those rules. Rules for Family Social Exposure by Cody Brown. Number 1, wear a mask in public. Okay. Number 2, sanitize your hands after shopping. Okay. Number 3, wash your hands often. Okay, he clearly doesn't understand. If he said he got this from the doctor, this is where you know Cody's making up his own rules. So you're in the house, every hour or 2 hours, everybody has to just keep washing their hands. It makes no difference, no other germs are coming in, you're all still in the same. The germs don't just create themselves over the course of time. And we know they die on a surface after, I don't know, how many minutes was it that eventually it just dies on the surface. So if there was something in their pantry that they got the day before, they can't go in there and touch it and all of a sudden get COVID. Anyway, you have to keep washing your hands often. I mean, in general, it's the same thing as you have to wash your hands after shopping. Yes, wash your hands after coming home from anything where you were with other people or touching surfaces that somebody else would have touched. Yes, but just in general, wash your hands often. Weird rule, but okay. Next rule. Sanitize purchased products and groceries with alcohol wipes before placing inside the house. This has to be done outside. So outside, they had to sanitize all their groceries and purchased products. On his list, it says purchased products. It doesn't have a D on purchased, but we'll let that slide. Before placing inside the house. Okay. Remove your shoes outside because COVID's all over the ground. I'm sorry. I don't want to laugh because COVID's not funny. Let me be very clear in this video. I am making fun of Cody and Robin, not COVID, okay? Remove your shoes outside. This is not a CDC law, rule, anything I've heard from anybody anywhere. You'd have to be touching the ground. You have to get your germ onto the ground, okay? Don't touch the ground. Change your clothing after visiting shops or other homes or businesses. So every time you leave the house and you come back, you have to change your clothes. We know, we learned that the virus does not live on the soft surfaces. It was surviving on hard surfaces, not soft surfaces. Again, it has to be another Cody rule or Robin rule or Robin's doctor's rule as she ran it by him and said, do you think this is a good idea? And the doctor's like, it's not going to hurt.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Okay. Only local family are allowed in the home unless abiding in these rules. Only local family are allowed in the home unless abiding in these rules. Meri was abiding in these rules, and yet we see that they would not allow her to come over. He's not even following his own COVID rules. Like, what's the point of trying to follow all these rules if when you do them, he still says no? Or they still say no?
I mean...
Cody was more lenient. It was Robin that was saying no. No eating in sit-down restaurants, only takeout. Limit your shopping. Use curbside pickup. I know none of these are the rules from TLC or the CDC. These are all Cody's. Okay. 2-week quarantine after travel or having visitors. I don't know what the difference between having a visitor over and seeing somebody in a grocery store would be, but apparently there's a difference. So visitors come over, or after travel, what does travel mean? I guess anything outside your home. 2-week quarantine. No movie theaters, no bars, no fitness centers or restaurants. Okay. Can we just say, in the height of COVID, all of these were shut down anyway? So these are rules, and we did see it on the show, that they went like, what, a whole year? And they're like, we've gone like 6 months, And we still can't get together as a family because you have rules. We don't know what the rules are. You're saying we're not abiding by them, but we don't have them in writing. So this is the written document that he gave them to abide by the rules. So this is after everything was opening back up. This is when the numbers started coming back down again. So this is later, after restaurants open back up and bars open back up and fitness centers open back up and movie theaters open back up, that you cannot attend any of those, nor can you go to grocery stores unless you're doing curbside pickup. You cannot travel anywhere and have any visitors in your home. That is the only way you can go from house to house.
You're paranoid. You are paranoid.
Oh, and that you change all your clothes and you take your shoes off outside and you wipe down all your groceries and any products that you purchase outside the house before coming in. Wait, no, there's more rules. I'm not done.
You're kidding me, right?
It says, if in-person shopping is absolutely necessary, 10-foot social distancing. You just make 10-foot social distancing. Okay, sanitizing hands, changing clothes after visiting the shop. All right, well, we have to change our clothes anyway. We have to sanitize our hands anyway. We've been sanitizing our hands during 2020 and 2021 until they were practically all dried and cracked out, right? Like, so that I get. 10-foot social distancing. I would just be like, yes, Cody, I'm doing 10-foot social distancing. I'll just say, I'm doing everything on this list. I am. Poor Janelle is too honest. I'm not going to be washing down all my groceries. This is crazy. I'd be like, yep, I wipe them down. I wipe them down every time I bring them in the house. Cody's following all of this, and guess what? He and Robin are the two that got COVID. Janelle got COVID too, but she said it was just like a mild cold.
There's a little thing called irony.
Let's go on. Kids can see friends if maintaining a 10-foot social distance and only for limited times of 1 to 2 hours.
That's a stupid rule.
Prefer to stay inside vehicles. Okay, so it's not a rule if it says prefer. So prefer to stay inside vehicles means that each person is in their own car 10 feet apart from each other, yelling at each other. That's what he is saying is okay. 10 feet apart in 2 separate cars. It's just crazy. But I find it interesting that Cody seems to think that you can spend 1 to 2 hours in the presence of other people 10 feet apart from each other and not contract COVID. But if you're there for 2.5 hours, or 3, God forbid, you're going to get COVID. It makes no sense. If they have COVID and you're going to get it, you're probably going to get it in the first 5 minutes that you're all together. But not if you're 10 feet apart, not if you're 6 feet apart. It's just, they're just crazy. Okay, there's more though. He also said, be honest with other family members about your travel and potential exposure. That's the one I would break. That's the one if I were Janelle that said, I can't follow all these. Oh, maybe I'm a rotten person. If the kids are socializing or dating, they must follow quarantine procedures before participating with the family in any way other than outside social distancing. And the quarantine procedures, he doesn't really outline them, but it might be that 2 weeks. Didn't we say 2 weeks earlier in here? Yeah, earlier it said 2-week quarantine after travel or having visitors. So if they have to see their boyfriend or girlfriend, then they have to spend 2 weeks in quarantine before they can get together with the family. He does say in here, other than outside and social distancing outside, but he would never allow the family to keep getting together outside. They didn't have a whole bunch of picnics and festivals and fun, and they didn't plan things for people to do outside to see each other and interact.
No.
I don't think they did even a whole bunch of Zoom stuff because they never showed it. They just made it seem like they were completely isolated. I think he handled it so poorly. So poorly. The last one is clean mail with alcohol wipes. Now, I think it's the last one because it's the end of the sheet of paper. Were there more on the back of the sheet of paper? This is a sheet of paper that was on the picnic table that Robin had that I zoomed in on. Was there a second sheet? They're not numbered. I don't know. But don't you find it interesting that never on here does it mention take a COVID test?
That's a great idea. I'm with that.
Let's just see if you have COVID. Kind of solves a lot of problems, right? I am sure one of the TLC rules was that you should take a COVID test before we do all the shooting. Maybe the moms could do their best at following this as well as the kids, and if they wanted to get together, they had to take a COVID test first. Do you have COVID or don't you? And then get together. I don't know. I'm just throwing out suggestions. Again, I don't want to get that political on this, and I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I just want to point out hypocrisy. And I wanted to share the rules with you because they never really said all of them, but I zoomed in so that I could share them with you.
Wow, are these the rules you guys follow?
I'm just
at your
gonna
house?
say it out loud. I know
These are what
everybody's
she
like
follows.
suspicious of me. Just please stop. Like, just don't be suspicious of me.
Cody clearly never really studied COVID or understood, because when the family would get together, he would tell Robin and their kids, you can't go over there, but he would go over and hug Truly and come back. Completely unaware of how COVID gets transmitted. If he goes over and hugs Truly and touches people over there and they have COVID, it won't come to our family. But if we all go over there, then we're going to get COVID.
Okay.
I don't know. Make it make sense. Maybe, just maybe, after McKelty does this rewatch of all the seasons of Sister Wives and she sees how Robin was so scared of COVID and how she was keeping everybody away, maybe she'll change her mind. Right now, she's still a Robin apologist. What do you think? Whose idea were the rules? Did the doctor really say they should do all this?
The answer is hell no.
Were these really Cody's rules that both Robin and he kept insisting were? Do you think this was all Robin? Robin freaking out? Robin maybe telling her doctor, this is what we're doing. Do you think it's a good idea? And the doctor said yes. And now she's saying, the doctor said we should do this. Do you think that Robin and Cody ever truly had an understanding of how COVID gets transmitted? Do you think that maybe they had all these crazy rules because they refused to get vaccinated? Do you believe that McKelty really doesn't think these were Robin's rules and that this was all Cody's idea in collaboration with TLC, the CDC, and this doctor that he respects so much? What do you think? That's all I have for McKelty Speaks today. I'll see you again next time. Don't forget, every Thursday night, 8 p.m., we do our live read of Becoming Sister Wives right on this channel. See you later, sister friends. Bye-bye.
I'll see you later.